Hey Polish Freaks, welcome back to another review. So today I'm going to be talking about a collection that I kind of decided to pick up last minute. It's the ORLY Breathable Loose Threads Fall 2024 collection. I saw the swatches of these online and I was like, dang. I think I need to get those at least to compare them for you guys so you could see. I feel like they are kind of colors that we've seen before, but I don't know, they're just the best assortment of fall colors together. And so I was super excited about it. I love how cohesive the collection is. I purchased these online. I'll put down below where you can get them. Sometimes those links are affiliate links, so I appreciate you shopping off those if you do. Before we get into it, let's talk about what's on my nails and what I'm wearing. So my shirt is from, I think it's from American Eagle, but of course I'll link it, and it's really cute. They had a few different colors and they were sold out, and this is the gray one. And I thought, how cute is this sweater? It's really lacy. I do have a like an undershirt under it just because I want it to be warm because it's kind of chilly today, and obviously it's see-through. But yeah, super, super cute. I think they had a brown one that I wanted. Maybe I'll see if it's back in stock, but I just thought it was super fun. Looks cute with jeans and a cute brown jacket or something, and so I love it, and it's super soft and cozy. On my nails, I'm wearing OPI Nature Strong Simply Radishing. It's one of my favorite mauves. I will be doing a video after this one, so this is kind of a giveaway for one of my favorites. It's a compare and contrast video, and it's going to be kind of a new series I might be starting if you guys are liking it. So I hope you're looking forward to that. On my lips, I am wearing this e.l.f. Revive lip oil, and I'm loving these. These are, I think, the dupes for the Dior lip oils, which are kind of crazy popular, and I might be kind of late to the game on this. I don't know, but I have been picking up a few colors. In fact, it was my daughter that kind of showed them to me, and I was like, oh, that's a much better price, $8 or $9 compared to like $40. Love the lip oils too, but I feel like these are a little bit more opaque, and this is the shade, oh gosh, you guys, I need my glasses. Yep, I have to say that now. I need my glasses. I'll put the name on the screen. It's a deeper burgundy one that I love for fall especially. And they make my lips look a little more plump, which they're definitely needing lately, especially as I'm getting older. No fun, but like it. Okay, so here is the collection. I think also why I was so excited about it because they're all creams, and we've been getting so many metallics, and I just wanted like that solid fall collection that looked good together, that were all creams, and this is it. I mean, you can't lose. These are like all my favorite types of shades to wear during fall. Let's get into it. All the formulas in these are just so crelly and so glossy and so buildable. It's like my favorite formula, but they just did it so well. You don't even need a top coat. Of course, I wouldn't go without a top coat because I definitely think it's going to make your mani last longer, but they're just super shiny. This first one is Yay for Sherpa, and I love mauve shades. You can see I'm wearing a mauve, and this also will be one that I talk about in my next video. It's more of like a pinky purple mauve. It's a little bit deeper, so I'd say it's like a medium tone, and like I mentioned, it's got that curly formula that's really buildable and just goes on smooth and glossy and beautiful, and you can't go wrong with mauve in the fall. It's just the best thing to wear. And there's just something about it with this formula. Since it's a little see-through, it adds a little bit of depth to it, and I almost thought it looked a little ethereal. It doesn't have any glitter in it, but it kind of glowed from the center. I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it was the lights that I'm using as I'm taking pictures and stuff, but especially when I did the comparison, I just felt like it kind of glowed within. Ah, so good. So I can't wait to wear this one, although I'm wearing a different one right now, but it's in the lineup for sure. And let's look at the comparison. So I compared it to Island Hopping, and that one's a little lighter and more pink. And then Essie Angora Cardi is probably the closest, but it's a little bit darker and richer. And then OPI Clay Dreamer is more of a purple rich shade. And yes, all of these shades are going to make an appearance in my next video, so check that out because I wanted you to see all the variations of different mauves. But this one is a little bit different than all the other ones that I have, and I love it especially because it just kind of glows. Then this gorgeous warm brown is Leather You Like It or Not, and I love that name and I love this color. I'm just loving warm browns this season. Usually I lean toward cool tone ones, but I'm just really loving the warm ones. So gorgeous. It's quite rich but still warm, maybe slightly muted, and it's got that same curly formula that just builds up beautifully in two coats and leaves a little bit of depth to it, and the formula is super glossy too. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. You can't go wrong with brown in the fall. Like I always say, if you haven't tried it, try it. It just feels classy and I love it. And let's look at the comparisons that I have. So I compared it to Orly Don't Be Suspicious. That one has more of a yellow base to it than Leather You Like It or Not, which has more of like a red base to it. So I do think I like Leather You Like It or Not better, at least for now, because I'm kind of liking that little bit warmer look. even warmer than a yellow tone base, which is a red tone base. And then I compared it to OPI Espresso Your Inner Self, and that one's a little lighter and more gray and different. And then OPI Pride is a dark, richer, warm brown. So this one is a little bit different than all the ones that I have, and the formula just makes it even better, and I just love it. If you like that thick, solid, opaque formula, this is not that, but it's kind of close, very buildable, but still crelly. Next up is Fleece To Meet You. I love a good green in the fall, and I like this one because while it's still dusty, it's a little bit bright and it has a little white in the base to make it that way. Well, I would say this is a pine green or an Amazon green, and it's a really, really nice kind of early fall green. And the formula is the same on this one. Crelly, opaque in 2 coats, and just glossy and shiny and beautiful. Love these so much, and I pulled out quite a few greens, and this one's quite unique. I have 2 sets of comparisons for this one because I just couldn't quite narrow in what it was exactly like. I compared it to OPI My Studios on Spring, which is an amazing color, and that's a touch lighter and a touch cooler, and I feel like that's more of like a spring green. Love it. But I feel like Fleece To Meet You is more of like a fall green just because it is a little bit more muted, not quite as bright, and a little bit moody. And then OPI Let's Scrooge is the same color. The base is the same color, but of course it has that blue shimmer in it. So I just wanted to pull that in there for you to see because in the bottle the greens look exactly the same. And then Off Tropic is darker and maybe a little bit more yellow toned. My next comparison, I have Besties, and that one's a brighter shade, a little bit more green. And then Fiddle Fig, it's very close but not exactly the same. And then One For You, Two For Me is also a little bit different as well. Maybe a little bit more green and not quite as blue. Hopefully you can see that there in the picture. But lovely green, a little bit different than ones that I have, and I think it will be fun to wear for fall. I was going to pull it out and wear it with this sweater, but I decided I was just going to keep clay dreaming on. I didn't want to paint my nails again. And I'm going to go work in the yard, and then after I'm done planting all my tulip bulbs, which I've been busy doing on my gardening channel, then I'll come back and probably put one of these greens on. But I think it's a perfect Christmas green too, and I love green in the fall too. Next up is I'm Easily Suede, and I love this shade of blue. It's a little bit muted. I would say this one's kind of a teal, but it definitely has a little bit more blue in it, so it's only slightly teal. And you'll see that as I compare it to some other colors. Actually, I feel like the ones I compared it to were more like this, obviously, because they had more blue, and I kept pulling teals out to compare, and they were just quite a bit more green, and so I landed on some that leaned more blue. This is so close to being a teal leaning polish, but if you have it by itself, it's definitely just going to look teal. Does that make sense? But when I compared it to other teals, it just wasn't quite there. So anyway, I would say just looking at it, yeah, it looks teal. Is that confusing? Yeah, it's confusing when you're trying to do comparisons. Just try it. It can be confusing. I pull out so many polishes and I'm like, oh, just can't quite nail it. I feel like this one's is set apart because of that. It has that same crelly formula that just builds up so beautifully. Love it so much, so glossy and shiny. And let's look at the comparisons. So I compared it to O&J Bodysuit, and that one's pretty close, but Easily Suede has a more opaque formula than the Olive in June. And then OPI Duomo Days, that one's not as muted, but that's very close in color tone. So as you can see, that one's quite a bit more blue too. It's not considered a teal, I would think, but this one's just a little bit different. Feelin' Amped is a little more blue and doesn't have as much green in it. That's how that one compares to other polishes. So kind of a cool color. Love a good blue in fall, especially one that's a little bit muted and moody. Now our Blucite is a really beautiful color. I probably botched that. It's supposed to say like now or later, but it's got the word boucle in it. And this is a gorgeous smoked out plum purple, which is perfect for fall. There are some favorites of mine that I have that are shades like this, and so I'm happy that Orly has one in this breathable line. The formula is a little bit different than this one. It is a little bit more opaque, and I feel like it dries down just kind of semi-matte or maybe even satin. And I kept that in the picture for you to see, so it does look a little bit different. I didn't put a top coat on it, but of course it would be beautiful and glossy with a top coat on it. And I love this one. The formula is super, super great. And let's look at the comparisons to this one. So I compared it to Smokin' Hot, of course, and that one is just a little bit smokier, a little moodier, a little more gray. And then OPI Susie and the Arctic Fox, so gorgeous. One of my favorite shades. Haven't talked about that one for a while, and that one's close. Has a hint of blue in it, so it sets it apart just a little bit. And Home by 8 is deeper, and I feel like that one has a little bit of brown. So they're all a little bit different. I feel like this is more of a true purple. I did pull out polishes like Making Harmony and some of those other ones, and they weren't quite as smoky as this one. In fact, it was kind of close, so I wanted to pull it out so you could hopefully see, but it's a little bit lighter. It's dusty, but it doesn't have as much of that deep gray in it as this one does, so it's a little bit different. So I didn't compare it to that one, but if I had one more finger that could line up really nicely, then I would have. That happens a lot actually, but I like to stick it down to 3 comparisons. So yeah, I like this one too, of course, and I just think it goes along so well with the collection. Then we have We Flannelly Made It. Love that name. I think it's super cute, and this polish is quite unique in its own way. So it's a mauve, but it's also terracotta leaning, but it's not quite too orange. It has a little bit of purple in it, so I would say it was like a purple mauve terracotta. It's just a little bit different. It does have a little berry in it too, so it has like some pink in it, which I really love because I feel like it warms it up a little bit. That way, instead of warming it up with more orange shades, if that makes sense, for terracotta. So I really struggled with pulling out comparisons for these. You guys, it's so hard to like get it just right with shades like this. I'll show you that in a second. This one has that same glossy formula, pretty consistent throughout the entire collection. And let's look at the ones that I did compare it to, but they're all quite different. So I compared it to Orly Red Rock. That one's actually the closest that I could find from the same line. It's just maybe a touch darker. The spice is right, and you can see the difference between also the OPI shade that I have that for some reason I just didn't make notes because I must have gotten kind of tired. But you can see that there, and hopefully it's helpful. So I did feel like a lot of polishes were more like kind of a brick red, or they were a terracotta orange, or they had more purple in the base, so they are all a little bit different. So I do feel like this one is kind of unique, but there's probably something out there like it. It just had a slightly different tone to it. So I actually really love this one. It's a little bit deeper mauve, purple terracotta. Okay, I have to pick my favorites, and gosh, I'm just gonna say, I'm really gonna say the whole collection. Even though these aren't like super original, I just love the entire collection. It's what I've been craving for fall. So glad I picked it up, and hopefully you guys will like it too, and hopefully those comparisons are helpful. So maybe you don't need them and you don't want to spend your money on them, but at least now you can see. So let me know in the comments down below if you do want to pick any of these up, or if you had, or which ones were your favorites. I appreciate it. Thanks so much for always commenting and liking, and we'll see you guys in my next review. Bye.